You're gonna take these two, and we're gonna add them together. Okay, so what is -8 plus a -6? Use your calculator. -8 plus a -6.
-14.
-14x. So we're going to -14x. Okay, well when you do these ones, they cancel. Okay, and that's the whole purpose, is to straight up eliminate a variable from the gate. Okay, what is -18 plus 18?
0.
0. Okay, and then we're going to divide, obviously, because we're solving for x. So divide by -14. And so we get x equals 0. Okay, and then the same way that we did before, you're gonna take that and plug it into one of your original equations, okay? And I'm gonna say that habitually and habitually over and over again. You have to plug it into an original equation. So, and it doesn't matter which one you use. Would you like to use equation 1 or equation 2? Pick one, so we're all on the same page. 2? Okay, so if equation 2, so we're going to write that one down. So -6x minus 6y equals 18. Okay, however, instead of the x, what do we know x to be now?
0.
0. Okay, so I'm just going to use my eraser. If you want to rewrite it all with the 0, you can. So instead of this x being here, it's going to be 0.
Then we solve.
Okay, so -6 times 0 is what?
0.
0. So you're going to get 0, and so that essentially 0 just cancels. So I got -6y equals 18. Okay, and then what needs done? Divide.
Divide equals -3.
Slow down.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to divide by 6, and then we're going to get a y equals -3. Okay, and then just like we did before, we need to write that as a coordinate. Which one comes first? The 0 or the 3? The 0. So it's going to be 0, comma, -3. Put that up and right. Hold on. I just did that whole thing. It don't make no sense. Okay, look at number 3. Okay, which ones are going to cancel? Which ones are we going to eliminate?
X.
The x's, okay, because one is a +4, one is a -4. Okay, so those ones are going to get eliminated, and so we're just going to add these together. What is 3 plus 2? 5y equals -16 plus 16. What's -16 plus 16?
0.
0. Okay, and then what needs done? We're going to divide by 5. So we get y equals 0. Okay, and then again, pick an equation. Do you want to use equation 1 or equation 2? It doesn't matter.
2. Number 2.
You want to use number 2? Okay, so write equation 2 down. Okay, which is this one. Okay, this is equation 1 because it's on the first line, equation 2. So we're going to write that down, -4x plus 2y equals 16. Okay, well, we've already solved for one variable. And what was that variable? 0. Well, it was 0, but what variable was it for?
Y.
Y. Okay, so wherever the y is at, you can erase it and put the 0 there. So we can put the 0 here. Okay, and then we always gotta do the parentheses first. So what is 2 times 0? 0. Okay, Okay, and you don't even have to erase the zero, you can just write over it if you want to, but, okay, so we're gonna get negative 4x, and in this case, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it, but what is 2 times 0? We said 0 equals 16. Okay, now what happens, then what would need done? We would, but if there's a 0 here, or a number in general, okay, we're gonna have to subtract it, but that's not gonna change anything. Some people don't get the concept of canceling the 0, which is fine. Okay, so 16 minus 0 is gonna be 0. And then our last step is always to do what? Divide. Okay, if you didn't do the minus 0 part, that's totally fine. That means your brain probably gets the minus 0 part, but if you don't, then you can absolutely. Okay, 16 divided by negative 4
Is 4. It would be a
is
negative 4.
negative 4.
But I do have a question.
What?
Do we have to show us, like, subtracting the 0?
No, that's what I literally just said.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, number 5, we can take these and add them together. Okay? What's gonna cancel? What's gonna eliminate? The x's, okay? Because they're both the same. I got one positive and one negative. Okay? So 6 plus 3, what's 6 plus 3? 9y equals, and then we got 12 plus negative 30. 12 plus negative 30. Negative 18. Then what needs done? Divide by 9. So we get y equals negative 2. Okay, again, pick an equation. Do you want to use equation 1 or equation 2? Number 2. Okay, so write equation 2 down. Negative 8x plus 3y equals negative 30. Okay, well, we know one variable. What was it? X or y?
Y.
It was y. So wherever the y is at, we can write what? Negative 2. Okay? So, and again, you can erase this and put the negative 2 there, or if you want to do this and put a negative 2 there, you're more than welcome to. I don't really care. Okay? Okay, and then what is that? 3 times negative 2. What is 3 times negative 2? Negative 6. Okay, and then again, what needs done first? Add 6 to both sides. So we're going to say plus 6, plus 6. So I got negative 8x equals, what is negative 30 plus 6? Negative 24. Okay, and then what's our last step always? Divide by negative 8. So we're going to get x equals 3. Okay, when I write my coordinate, which one comes first?
X.
The x, which is what? 3. And my y is negative 2. Okay, the back changes a little bit, but not by much. Okay, so on the front, what we were doing essentially straight from the gate, we could add. Okay, and the reason that we can add is because when we take 8 plus negative 8, you're gonna get 0, which is gonna cancel. Okay, now when we look at the back page, okay, which one of the, and you have to kind of look, so if we look at, this one's a good example, 10 is a good example. Which one do you think would cancel? Look at 10, which one do you think would cancel?
Not the water.
The Y's, why the Y's? They're both have the same number, okay, they're both 4. However, what is 4 plus 4? 8, that doesn't cancel. And so rather than adding the two, you need to subtract the two equations, okay? And so, and that's gonna make your sign look different, okay? So you're gonna subtract the two. So if they have the same sign, both being minus or both being positive, you're gonna subtract. If they have opposite signs where one is a positive 8, one is a negative 8, you're gonna add, okay? And that's just gonna come with practice, okay, which is no big deal, okay? So we're gonna go through these. And really, there's a 1 in front of all of these just plain old X and Y's, okay? So what is 2 minus 1? 1X, okay? Okay, and this is where it kind of gets tricky. So the minus you have to do with every single one. So it's going to look like -1 minus -1. And type that on your calculator. What is -1 minus -1? Did you type it on your calculator? You didn't. -1 minus -1. 0. So that again, that's how it cancels. Okay, and then the same thing you're going to do with this one. -7 minus -2.
-9.
You're missing a negative one.
Wouldn't -1 minus -1 be -2?
No, use a calculator. -5? Good. Or write it out in a straight line and you'll be able to see it. Okay, so -5. Then what needs done?
Oh,
Divide. So we're going to divide all these pieces by 1. And so we get x equals -5. Okay, and then everything else is the same. You're going to plug it into one of the equations above. Okay, which one would you like to use?
2.
Equation 2. Okay, and I'm going to erase this just so I can see a little bit, but. Okay, so we're going to write it down exactly what it looks like. Okay, so x minus y equals -2. Well, which one can I fill in? We know one of the variables. What is it? X, and it is -5. So wherever the x is at, you can erase or scribble over it or whatever and put -5. Okay, and again, there's a 1 here. Okay, there's a 1 there. Okay, so what needs done first? Huh? Add 5. So I'm getting -1y equals, well, what is -2 plus 5? 3. Okay, and then our last step is always to do what? Divide by -1.
How do you know when to do subtraction and addition between the two?
So when you have two numbers that are the same with the same sign, like both either plus or both minus, then you have to subtract.
Does that go for the variables too, like the y's that we have on 7?
Well, yeah, because they're both a -1 and a -1.
Okay,
So the only way to cancel them is to subtract. If you added them together, -1 plus -1 is gonna give you -2, which is not a cancellation. Whereas like on the front page, you have one that's a +1 and one that's a -1, so you can just add them together. Okay, look at number 9. Which ones are gonna cancel? The x's, okay? And so we're gonna subtract because they're both a 5x. Okay, what is 5 minus 5? 0, they cancel, okay? And I'm gonna put a 1 in front of this y. -2 minus 1. -2 minus 1. negative 3, y, okay, and again, be careful, there's a lot of negatives. Negative 13 minus negative 16. Negative 25? Negative 9? 29. That don't feel right. Negative 13 minus negative 16. 3.
Oh, yeah. Because the negatives cancel out.
Okay, and then what we need is done. Divide by negative 3. Okay, until we get y equals negative 1. Okay, then we're going to take this and plug it into one of the equations. Which one would you like to use? Equation 2? Okay, so we get 5x plus y equals negative 16. Okay, I'm just copying that one down. And this time we know what? The x or the y? We know the y. Okay, so wherever the y is at, we can put a negative 1. Okay, then what needs done? Okay, this one looks funky because we have a plus minus, but the minus trumps the plus. Okay, so it's, yep, you're gonna add it. Okay, so we're gonna get 5x equals negative 15. Okay, and then our last step is always divide. So we're gonna get x equals negative 3. So it's gonna look like negative 3, negative 1. We got one more. Okay, last one, number 11. Which ones are gonna get eliminated? The y's, okay? Again, we know it's subtraction because they both say minus y, okay? So that means you have to subtract, okay? So we're gonna say subtract, okay? Then you just start going through, okay? Well, what is 4 minus negative 7? 4 minus negative 7? 11. Okay, so we're gonna get 11x. Our y's are gonna cancel. Okay, and then you're gonna get negative 3 minus 30. Negative 33.
Then negative 11.
Nope, it's 11. Okay, and then what needs done? Divide by 11. So we get x equals negative 3. Okay, we're going to take that and plug it into one of our original equations. Okay, and so which one would you like to use? Equation 1 or equation 2? 2? Okay, negative 7x minus y equals 30. And I'm going to put a 1 in front of this y. Okay, the reason I always put the 1 there is because then people forget to do it. Okay? Because there's a negative, then people will just say, oh, okay, it says y equals, when it really doesn't. It says negative y equals. Okay? Which one can I plug in? I can fill in the x or the y. The x with the negative 3. Okay, and so we get stuck doing this first. What is negative 7 times negative 3? Use your calculator. Negative 7 times negative 3. 21. So I get 21 minus 1y equals 30. Okay, then what needs done? Try again. Subtract 21. Okay, so I get negative 1y equals 9. Okay, not 30 minus 21, that gives you 9. And then our last step is always to do what? Divide by negative 1. Okay,